As a response to Gary on the video you put on the DoNotGod channel on Blip TV there, Gary, which was a response to my video called Scientific American BS. In that original video of mine, just to bring us up to speed here, I was just expressing my irritation at an article in Scientific American magazine, a magazine which prides itself on a scientific approach. On that magazine containing an article by Wade Davis, who I usually think is alright, which I just thought made this ridiculous primitivist claims, which seemed to distinguish the beliefs of primitive people, the Bansamo, something like that, tribe of northwest Amazon in Colombia, I think, seemed to be distinguishing their philosophy, their worldview from Western worldview and claiming it was superior. And particularly it was saying that man and the universe are one, and it described it as a philosophy of interconnectedness. And my problem with that was that that's not particular to pre-state societies in remote parts of the world. What I was saying is that is part of Western science. It's just not phrased in quite that way. Gary, in your video, in which you critiqued that, you changed the phraseology slightly. So you said that I was saying that we are one with everything, and I think there's a different ring to that, really. I mean, in a sense it's the same, but I think there's a very different ring to it. I'm not saying, I guess just because that phrase, one with everything, and to a certain extent the phrase in the Wade Davis article, it has this kind of, this kind of new agey, religious kind of ring to it, really, which I just think is misleading. What I was saying is that Western science says broadly speaking the same thing, but articulates it in what I think is a superior way. You know, when Western science says something along the lines of man and nature are one, it adds to that. It doesn't just say we're all one, therefore we're kind of this weird kind of mushy, cloudy, inchoate spiritual kind of unified entity. It says no, we're all one because we're all part of a set of dynamic systems, and this is how the dynamic systems work, and this is the dynamic systems that keeps homeostatic processes in operation within, let's say, planetary ecologies or within living bodily systems, and these are the set of impersonal forces that hold these large masses that we call planets together, and these are the ones that keep them in rotation around stars, and these are the forces that articulate the relationships between stars, and these are the other forces and so on that explains the generation of stars and the origins, and all these forces are part of a set of interrelated, interconnected, singular system. That there's not a different set of logics that apply to humankind and that doesn't apply to nature. You know, the same kinds of forces which are holding together the atoms in my body are holding together the atoms in trees and stars and everything else. You know, there's no separation there. And sure, you know, of course, different parts of it behave in different ways, and humans, which are obviously central to our thinking, are do different things within that system and do different things with those forces and different things with the bits of elemental matter that come out of the operations of those forces. Yeah, we're capable of all kinds of stuff. And in many cases that might make us oppositional to other parts of it. So when you say you're at least partially defined in opposition to nature, I would say, yeah, although obviously you are part of nature as well, yeah, because you're made of the same stuff and you're part of the same thing, you know. So yeah, you're oppositional to certain parts of nature, and certain parts of your own body are oppositional to other parts of your own body, and yeah, there's all these oppositions as well. You know, within that, it's not one or the other. You know, you can have both. So when I'm saying that yes, the universe is interconnected, that's in non-Western societies, that's a kind of spiritual claim. In Western societies, that's a scientific statement, and it's qualified and explained and articulated through things like dynamic systems theory, through things like just laws of motion and mechanics of various kinds and quantum mechanics, and you name it. You know, these are the things which explain the articulation of that wholeness and all the parts that break up that wholeness. And I think it is as subject to mystification as anything else. We mystify the beliefs of non-Western cultures for good reason, because they are mystical. But I think we also do tend to mystify our own science. It's very easy for dynamic systems theories and homeostatic theories of how planets work to be kind of mystified into Gaia theory, and before you know it, you've reinvented pantheism. But that's not what I'm arguing for. I think that's an example of backsliding, personally. No, I'm saying that the kind of claims that are made by Wade Davis in that article, that man and universe are one, it sounds like a grand statement, and it's held up as a positive and laudable aim when applied to non-Western societies, but it doesn't recognise at all that that's so prevalent within Western society, within Western science, that it's almost trivial to say it. I mean, we don't need to say it because we've moved on from that point. Yeah, we've got the idea. There aren't these other things outside of nature that you might call ghosts or spirits or gods. There isn't any of that stuff. All there is nature. There's only one nature. It's big, really big, and there's all sorts of things going on within it, and we're part of the things that's going on within it. And sometimes it feels good, and sometimes it doesn't feel good. So yeah, that's some kind of a qualification.